Hello again, beekeepers. I'm Gene Renee with Enjoy Beekeeping, and it is winter in Georgia. So if you're wondering what winter looks like in Northeast Georgia, this is kind of typical of a lot of our winter days. And I know some of you might be saying, I wish I had a winter just like that. And trust me, I know all about the cold and I know all about 7-foot high snow. That's why I moved away from where I used to live up north. And I came down here in the south where we have a much milder winter and it's much more enjoyable. So there's just 1 or 2 bees coming and going in and out of the hives today. The temperature right now is, I think it's just about 50 degrees, maybe 48 degrees, somewhere right in there. So even a Georgia boy like me can stand that. So the bees are doing their cleansing flights. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how I feed my bees. Now you say, wait a minute, you're not supposed to feed your bees if you're a natural beekeeper. So I want to talk to you about one way that you can feed your bees that's all natural. So here I'm standing in my little feed patch that I planted for my bees earlier this spring. I wanted to get a pollinator mix, and I ordered it from a company called Nature Seed. And I'm not affiliated with Nature Seed, so just in case you ever hear me drop names of a certain brand of anything or a certain company, I don't get any kind of kickbacks from anything. I just go out and find stuff, and if I think it's cool, I like to share it with you viewers. So this patch is what's left of what we had growing this spring. Now I'm going to flash back so that you can see what it looked like during the spring when it was in full bloom. And this is what I was feeding my bees with. Okay, so check this out. I want to show you this website while I'm editing this video. So here you get to see the inside of the studio a little bit and how I put these videos together. But I want to show you this website, natureseed.com. And this is where I got that patch of pollinator blend. And so what I like about this particular company is if you go to the search at the top, you can just put in honeybee and hit search, and look what comes up. You can actually get blends of flowers that are ideal for honeybees if that's what you're interested in, and based on where you live, you can get the best mix of seed for your climate zone. So this is what I did, and if you look down just a little further on the website, they've got whole sections dedicated to pollinator blends, beneficial insects. They've got some new stuff on here too. And you can just kind of browse through here and see what your goals are, and depending on, what you want to achieve. And for me particularly, this is what I'm all about right here. I want to get into the honeybee pasturing. So this is a real nice place where you can find some blends that you can put down. So you can do one crop if you want to. You can just do white clover, but I like to mix it up, and that's what I did with the pollinator blend. So I put in about the size of the plot that I put in was roughly I think it was 30 feet wide and about 50 or 60 feet long. So that's what I put down. And let me just see if I can actually find you the pollinator blend that I used. And like I say, it's tailored to your climate zone. Let me just see if I can find the one that I used. It might have been this one here, the South Atlantic Transitional Pollinator Blend. Let me just double check to see if it's, yeah, I'm pretty sure this was the one that I got. Let me just do the quick overview. So this is what the bag of seed looks like when you order it. They're a nice company, and what I liked about it is, you know, it'll tell you the region, and this is just kind of at the north end of my region, so it'll work, and it did work. And it'll tell you how much sun or shade it needs. It'll tell you how high, or excuse me, it'll tell you how high the flowers will grow, 1 to 3 feet, and that's exactly what mine did. It'll tell you what 1 pound of seed will cover. And then down here, you can see that it will show you the actual blend. So I've got some sunflower, black-eyed Susan, purple cornflower, blue flax, Illinois bundle flower, crimson clover, and so on, yellow sweet clover. Quite a few different blends, and boy, I'll tell you, not only did I have my honeybees, which were, you know, in 7th heaven, because the hives are right there, they could just fly right out to it. They really like that. But I had all kinds of yellow canaries, and I had birds that I had not seen that much of before, visiting my little patch that I had. And like I say, it was only like a 30 by 60 patch, and boy, was that a hit. The bees, the bumblebees, bees that I didn't even recognize, and lots of colorful birds. And it was just fun watching all those little birds flying around. And boy, when I tell you we had canaries, I went out, I opened up my door on my back deck, which opens right out to the backyard. And the one day that I opened that door, it must have been about 20 or 30 canaries just flew up out of that flower patch. And all that yellow went streaking up into the trees, because they're pretty scared of people. So they all waited for me to go back in the house, but one by one, they all came back down and they were eating the seeds that were in that flower patch. So it was pretty cool. That was just a little bonus treat that I got to have by planting that. So I'm going to do it again next year. So this is it. This is my project for next year. What you see behind me is a little piece of my homestead. This is roughly 10 acres of just open field that I've got here. And I tell you, you know, I'm not a farmer by trade, but I seem to dabble in it quite a bit, especially when it comes to the bees and my chickens and gardening and so forth. And so what I wanted to do is, because I don't feed my bees sugar and I don't feed them corn syrup, I don't even give them dry sugar, I thought, well, what can I do that's beneficial for them and natural? Well, I thought, okay, I did a little experimental plot this year with planting some pollinator mix that I got from Nature's Seed that I mentioned earlier. And that went really well. The bees were all over that. They loved it. And I've been saving my money, and it cost me roughly $200 in order to get enough yellow clover. This is what I'm going to plant here. Now, yellow clover, it's called yellow sweet clover. It's different than the white clover that you may be familiar with if you look at someone's grass who lets their grass grow a little bit wild, kind of like me. And I just kind of keep it at a certain height. I just don't like it to get, you know, knee high, especially around the house. So I'll let the white clover grow up and blossom, and I tell the family, don't cut the grass. You know, because sometimes my wife, she likes to keep the grass cut sharp. I say, honey, please, I said, let's just wait another week. In fact, if you would like to do something to help out the honeybees where you live, that's one thing that is extremely effective. You can actually boost the natural nectar sources in your area if you just hold off cutting your grass. So let's say, for example, that you cut your grass in the springtime about once every 7 days or every 10 days. Did you know that if you actually wait about 2 weeks, if you can just let it grow a little bit more, maybe 2 weeks, go take a look at it. If you think you can let it go to 2.5 or 3 weeks without it looking like you're gonna, get a notice on your door, please cut your grass, then go ahead and let it grow and let some of those flowers come up. You might have some dandelion, you might have some sweet clover. By doing that and just holding off on those cuttings, you can boost the nectar supply for the local honeybees in your area tremendously. Don't ask me what the ratio is, but it's substantial. I do know that because I remember Dr. Leo mentioning that in one of his classes. So I wanted to pass that along to you. So this year, my project to feed my bees encompasses this 10-acre field that you see behind me. I've put ads on Craigslist to see if anybody wants to come and cut it just for the hay. I haven't got one single bite. And this year I said, you know what, I got the money, I'm gonna go out and get the sweet clover. I planted it, and what I did was I cut the grass as short as I could, and then I broadcast the yellow sweet clover seed in it, and you have to kind of do this in the fall. So if you're thinking of doing clover, the best times of year to do it is either in the fall when you start getting frost, and now we're starting to get frost. In fact, every day this week, I think we've hit right around 24 degrees at night. So that's freezing cold for us here in Georgia. We're just shivering over here. And I know some of you are laughing hysterically because for some of you, probably 24 to 32 degrees Fahrenheit is a warm day. And trust me, I know all about being in 32 temperatures Fahrenheit and feeling like it was a warm day, because I used to live about 1,000 miles north of where I currently live. That's why I got out of there. We had 7-foot snow, and we had below 0 days for days on end, it seemed. So I am not a cold weather guy. That is not for me. This is just the right amount of winter, what I'm experiencing right here. This is about all the winter that this body can handle. So anyway, that's why I'm here. And if you're thinking of planting clover, you can do it in the fall, or you can do it in early spring. And so if you haven't gotten to it this year, maybe you're watching this video now and it's like, oh, I can't do anything now because I've got 3 feet of snow on the ground. You can actually do that planting in the spring. And when I did it around my house, I just had a small bag of white clover and I just put it in a broadcaster, and I did do it in the spring, and it took great. I didn't have to till or anything. It just worked its way right into the grass. This particular field, what I did was I cut it short, I broadcast the seed, and then I came back with a rototiller attachment on my tractor. And what I did was, instead of tilling deep into the ground and just turning everything over, I did what they call just scratching the ground. So I just ran that tiller, I scuffed it up, and I got some of the soil up and still left a lot of the ground intact. This way, some of that clover seed will come in contact with soil, and I can work that in. And so between the freezing temperatures and some of the rain, and we might even get a snow here sometime this winter. Sometimes we get snow in Georgia here, and sometimes we don't. If you go about an hour north of where I am, they do get snow quite a bit. They probably get it every year at some point, maybe an inch or two, nothing huge. But we might get a snow here. The point is that'll help that clover seed work its way into the soil and germinate really well once spring starts next year. So what I envision is gorgeous fields of yellow sweet clover. And yellow sweet clover, just so you know, is considered invasive. It grows really, really well. And it's and here's the deal behind yellow sweet clover. It's actually a godsend for, it's a great soil builder. It puts nitrogen into the soil. It's used as a green manure. So for some of you that are into, more of the gardening aspect of things, it's a really great way to, you can let it grow and you can till it back into the soil as what they call a green manure. It's an excellent soil builder. So if in a couple years I ever decide that I want to put these fields to use and start growing crops in them, I'm actually doing two things at once. I'm feeding my bees, which is my first goal, long term, I'm enriching the soil so that if I ever want to use it for something like growing food, and I think that's an awesome idea. Anyone that grows food, I think that's a good plan, especially the way this year has been so weird, right? You might need to grow some food. So anyway, that's kind of my thought on this. I'm going to have it ready for dual purpose. And what else was I going to say? It's about a 2-year project when it comes to yellow sweet clover, because what happens in the first year, whoops, hey, all right. My dog was getting tangled up. I got my new microphone. I hope you like the sound quality of these videos. So what happens in the first year with yellow sweet clover is the roots get established first. And so I don't know if I'm going to see yellow flowers on the clover this coming spring and summer or not. I'm hoping that I do. Maybe I will. But the little info packet said on the side that, you know, expect it to be about a 2-year. And then in 2 years, I should have those fields that I'm picturing in my mind and that I've seen here on, you know, Google search, you know, for yellow sweet clover. This is what it looks like. Gorgeous fields of yellow and just filled with all kinds of honeybees and local pollinators. So this is my project for feeding my bees. And I want to encourage you beekeepers to do the same thing. Now, I know that this is a rare thing to have this much field, but if you got it and you're not using it for anything, I encourage you to do this, but you don't have to have a massive field. One of the things you can do, like I just mentioned, you don't have to cut your grass every week or every 10 days. Just let it grow a little extra. Give the local bees something extra to pollinate with. Let the nectar supply in your area increase just by holding off a little bit. Another thing you can do is if you want to, you can oversow some clover into your lawn now. If you don't need to have that picture perfect green grass, you can oversow some of that white clover into your grass. It'll build your soil. It'll put nitrogen into the ground. It'll make your lawn gorgeous. And those little white flowers that some people, you know, some people don't like them, but I think they're beautiful. And I like to see all kinds of yellow dandelions and white clovers and different flowers for the bees, because I know it's helping them. So when I see it, I'm really happy to see that. When I see a picture perfect lawn, if you will, picture perfect meaning that it's cut, you know, 2 inches tall and there's not a single weed or flower in it, I look at that and I think like the honeybee and I say, boy, there's nothing here to eat at all. What am I going to do with this? It looks nice, but there's nothing there for the bees. So if you want to help the local pollinators in your area, look for patches of ground, maybe around your house. Maybe you've got, you know, just you can think of this, some place that might come to your mind where you can just broadcast a little bit of wildflower seed. You got a little bank along the side of your house that maybe you can, you know, just throw some wildflowers in and let the honeybees do it. You know, if everybody does a little bit here and a little bit there, it adds up to 10 acres real fast. So yeah, I've got the 10 acres, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. Not everybody does, but that doesn't mean that you can't help out too. So I encourage you to think about that for next year, because by doing so, you're going to give the bees exactly what they want. Instead of giving them sugar, you're going to give them the good stuff. You're going to give them the nectar from the flowers to make that awesome honey. So friends, I hope you enjoyed this little video. I hope this inspires you to try this out for yourself next year and make 2021 an awesome year. So till next time, friends, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks to all the new subscribers, and enjoy beekeeping. We'll see you in the next video.